Hello, and welcome back to Break Panel Sports. We're just going to get straight into it. I'm John, joined alongside Joel. First off, Joel, though, before we get straight into it, how we doing?
Doing good, man. We had a couple of moves, couple controversies going on this past week. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a bit loaded. It's been a bit. We're going to actually debut, I guess, our NBA side of things. We do talk about the NBA a lot on here. We've done it before. I don't know if we ever thought boxing would come first before the NBA, but we did it.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's been wild. But anyway, pretty big NBA news. So there's been, James Harden. I think we've told this story a million times, but in different fonts. But James Harden wants a trade. Oh my goodness. Let's all act surprised first.
Shocker.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so he's had beef with Daryl Morey. We all know that. This is not new news, but it's also new news at the same time because this is the first time that we've really seen a player at a camp, his own camp in China. You imagine paying for a basketball camp, right? And you want your kid to get better at basketball from an MVP in James Harden, and he's lecturing your children about how Daryl Morey is a liar and he will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Okay, that's what James Harden said. It was during an event, whatever it was. But yeah, I want to go watch James Harden play basketball. Oh, wait, he's telling me that Daryl Morey is a liar. It was interesting to say the least. What are your thoughts on what he had to say about Daryl Morey?
So yeah, looking at how Harden has gone about his previous teams, seeing how he forced his way out of Houston, how he's forced his way out of Brooklyn, he's doing something very similar here in Philadelphia. I do not understand how teams are supposed to look at what he's been doing. It's not hard to find. It's all over social media now. And be like, that's a guy I want on my team. I would stay away from a guy like James Harden if I was a part of the Clippers, if I'm part of the Knicks. I've heard rumors about many different teams, maybe that he's going back to Houston. I don't want him. I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want to deal with him. Not to mention his contract. This is just like so much red flags that goes on with James Harden, especially nowadays. And seeing this about how he talks about an owner that he's had for about a year? Not even?
Right. Morey was the GM of the Rockets when he was
oh no, yeah.
Houston. So he has a history with this guy.
He does. But it's just, I think he just handled about this like in one of the most like unprofessional ways you possibly could have. Because at least if he was just to say, I want to trade, I don't want to be here anymore, and Philadelphia was still willing to refuse, in my opinion, it's like, okay, maybe you could force something in the midseason. Maybe you could have forced something with a team that's maybe in a rebuilding phase. Maybe you could have done something with a team that maybe is looking to add an extra piece and, win a championship. We're not even talking about you as a basketball player anymore. We're talking about you as a person. Nobody wants to work with you. I wouldn't want to work with you. I would not want a James Harden on my team. I don't think a lot of people would.
And you look at, let's say I'm a general manager, right? And
right.
James Harden is now on the block. First up, you have to give a ton of value up to get James Harden. It's not like he's some scrub. He's an MVP. It was a while ago, but he's still quite a great basketball player. He's one of the best players in the NBA. Yes, his talent.
You saw the package they wanted?
What was it? I didn't see it.
It was like, I think they wanted like, as of right now, Philadelphia wants like 2 firsts and like a good player.
And that's the price you have to pay for James Harden. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head too. I guess you would not pay that price for James Harden.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't pay any price for James Harden.
I would struggle to just give up the picks.
Right, the 2 first-round picks. We're seeing what a lot of great first-rounders coming out. James Harden's getting on the older side, and yes, again, still talented, but he hasn't been able to push a team really to a championship or anywhere close. He's gone to the conference finals with Houston, and that team, lacked a bit of talent, but they got to Game 7. They just couldn't shoot the 3 ball against the Golden State Warriors in that game.
Oh my
but
God.
At the end of the day, that was a dumb game. That was one of the dumbest games I've ever seen in my life. But at the end of the day, James Harden hasn't been able to push a team to NBA championship success. And really, even though that series did go 7, we knew the Warriors were going to win that game. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they haven't gotten anywhere close. We've seen the drama in Brooklyn. We've seen the drama with now the Sixers, and just everywhere he's gone, there's just been something. So if I'm a general manager and I'm sitting here saying, okay, who knows really what Daryl Morey has done? He could be a corrupt guy. That's not, that's up to them to figure out. But if I'm a general manager and do I want James Harden to come back at me and say I'm this liar, corrupt person? I don't know. I don't think I want to take that risk if I'm a general manager, and I don't know what team would really want to put James Harden on their basketball team right now. So it's going to be tough for the Sixers. I mean, there's a better guard on the market right now. There's a way better point guard on the market right now. His name's Damian Lillard. Okay, you're going to have to give up a lot to get that guy, but he's loyal. He's not going to pull any of this. So if Harden's going to go somewhere else, Dame has to go somewhere first. So I don't know what's going to happen. You could see a Ben Simmons situation because the Sixers are stubborn and don't like trading these kind of players, but we'll see.
Do you think that maybe like, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there because it probably is not going to happen. But do you think that maybe Philadelphia and Portland could be saying like, listen, we're both in kind of a similar situation here.
It's tough,
Maybe
but why would Portland want to do that?
Why would I mean,
they have to give up young assets.
I would say if Portland was to get Harden and get, I don't know, maybe like a couple of young people. I'm not sure what you would get for a Dame. I feel like Portland would have to get way more than Philadelphia is getting here. I would assume.
It would be mostly Damian Lillard and probably some pick swaps and all that fun stuff. It would just it's tough.
It kind of I'm mentioning it just because it kind of reminds me, and I'm not trying to discredit or disrespect Damian Lillard here. It just reminds me of a similar situation to Ben Simmons and Harden,
right?
Brooklyn and Philadelphia, where like, listen, we're both in kind of a similar situations. Our guys don't want to be here anymore. We could just swap players and swap a couple guys, and literally both guys would be happy. At least a little bit. At least a little bit.
Problem is that situation, right? I can see it's happening. I just don't think Portland will be smart to do it, right? Even if they do get some young assets, the Sixers don't have enough to give up for Damian Lillard. They could probably get a better package for Miami anyway, which is where he wants to go. But Brooklyn and Philadelphia at the time were both championship minded. They thought, okay, we can win a championship here. Portland knows that they're in for a pretty long rebuild, a decently long rebuild. Yes, they got some great talent. They got Scoot, they got Simons, but they still need to build that roster, build that core a little bit, and they need to do that without Dame. It's like a positive breakup they have to go through right now. And it's just what they have to do. So I don't see this being a nice match for Portland and Philadelphia. I can see Portland maybe trying to hold on to what star power they can acquire and say, yeah, we got some young guys. We got Scoot. We're good. But I think Portland's all in on rebuild mode, especially now that Dame is probably not going to be on the Portland Trailblazers anymore and should be headed over to Vice City. But it's not, I can see it maybe happening, but I just don't think that Portland should do it. Philadelphia, yeah, do that, but I don't think Portland should.
Either player, Dame or James Harden, do you think that there's a possibility that either of them would even think about holding out? I don't think
it's tough. So. It's tough. I think Dame is more likely to.
I saw a tweet like the other day where it said like if James Harden was to hold out, he would lose like, I'm estimating here, but it was somewhere around like $300K a game that he misses, and I'm like,
right?
Oh my god! Like,
right?
Talk about pettiness. Like, I'm like, just play, dude. You're on a good team. He's on a good team too. It's not
Philadelphia
like
wants
on like a rebuild.
Right, it's not like Houston where the team stunk. We all were. Nobody had a problem with James Harden wanting out of Houston, and really not even that much with Brooklyn. Yes, it was dramatic, but okay, that team was falling apart.
His teammate literally won MVP.
Right,
his teammate literally won MVP. Like, there's not a.
They got close. They got close. They had some good runs against Boston too. I don't know what James Harden. I guess he obviously he doesn't want to be with Daryl Morey. It has nothing to do with the performance of the team. It has to do with probably him trying to get a good contract, James Harden. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end. But James Harden is kind of running out of time. His resume in terms of his exits is now getting to the point where he's a little older and it's affecting whether people want to be with him or not. So you might have to just kind of stick this one out with Philadelphia till the end of the contract so you go from there. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough for James Harden to go out and do that. But that's enough of James right there. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Break Panel Sports. And we are here in the beautiful backyard of our friend Jeff. But I'm John.
And I'm Joel. Make sure to look for more on our Spotify and YouTube. We'll see you next time.